Good morning, folks. A bit early this morning, so we'll give people time to get in. Why am I early? I don't know. This bloody thing keeps going on and off at the moment. I did go live for about 20 seconds yesterday that I wasn't aware of, and I noticed quite quickly because it was after David and I had been off and talking in the green room for a wee while. And then when I looked up, I could see the comments were coming through again. I was arguing with Sarah at the time. She wanted me to go to the show and top her phone up. And I wanted 100 quid in my wallet. And I said, no, bugger off. You'll wait tomorrow. I don't have enough money. Because I like to have 100 quid in my wallet most times when I go to the door. But the real truth was, in that 20-second segment, if you see that, was I couldn't be asked enough to go on the show. Right, but as I say, went live a wee bit early this morning again. I don't know why it happened. I was nowhere near the go live button, but I was nowhere near the mouse. Unless Charlie had it, because he just got off the table. So it might well be that Charlie's hit the mouse and started his off this morning, folks, 3 minutes early. So they say we'll give him a minute for people to get in. 2 minutes for people to get in. So I'm just going to have to pad it out. So while we're padding it out, some really good news for that forecaster at the Bank of England, She was only out by 50,000. And you're going, what do you mean, Davy? Well, some of you might remember that earlier in the year, the Bank of England at the turn of the year predicted about another 250,000 people would be unemployed by the summer. By this month, actually. Now, it turns out the wee woman that made that prediction was only out by 50,000 people. The unemployment figures come out today, and UK unemployment figures up 0.1% or 100,000 people, which is interesting. And of course, that's accelerated since April. Because with the national insurance hike on employers, it was made clear to Rachel before she done it. She was warned that employers would stop employing, maybe start shedding employees, and that it would force prices up. Because the companies have to be able to maintain their profit levels. Because they will get shareholders who want their annual dividend. So, not good news for Rachel for accounts, as unemployment reaches 4.7%, and unemployment's up by 200,000 since the beginning of the year. And of course, as we know, the economy's in contraction, and wage growth has slowed as well, folks. It's just in front of inflation at the moment in the private sector at 3.7 to 4.5% average annual pay increase. And in the public sector, it's above, way above inflation at the moment, but it's being pegged back. In the public sector, they're averaging 5% at the moment, but that's being pegged back as well. So there you go. Nice new raft of economic data out this morning. Okay, that's 1:30. So let's get this broadcast underway. It's Indy Truck Davy out the truck, not home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where I always am these days, where it is partly sunny, 18 degrees, rain in the forecast, sunshine and showers in other words, and the pollen count is high, main allergen is grass. So that's what the weather's like where Davy is. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look out your own bloody window. Alright, first up this morning, we have the loony right-wing knuckle draggers rag, the Express, and it leads on. We'll put it up. It leads on. Health Board accused of, what does that say? Preventing her from discussing the dispute with colleagues. Folks, that's a false headline. When the dispute was taken to Human Resources, this lassie was put in special leave on full time. This nurse Peggy. And while she was on that special leave on full time, the NHS had no control over who she spoke to. She wanted to go and speak to colleagues she could have done it outside their work time. So it's a nonsense headline. The other thing is, once she'd escalated it to a legal case, in this case a tribunal, she couldn't discuss it anyway. So there you go. What a lot of nonsense. Trans row nurse was silenced by NHS bosses. No, she wasn't. She escalated a legal situation herself. Her legal team would have tell her not to speak about it. As for the NHS silencing her, they sent their own special leave in full pay to they did their investigation. She accelerated it to a tribunal. Okay, let's take that one down. But as it says, it would appear we're starting off Friday on the culture wars, on the nonsense. Said this yesterday, say it again today. And there's a wee bit more of that actually later in the headlines. But this is nonsense. Who ever heard of employment tribunals being the main story on a fucking newspaper's front page? Think about it. When's the last time you heard there's such a tribunal on a newspaper's front page? Right, next up we've got the Scotsman. Let's see what nonsense it's got for us this morning. The Scotsman has: Scotland will be at heart of great AI leap. Growth zone to attract billions of pounds and thousands of jobs. Well, folks, let's go through that one, shall we? Shall we go through that one properly? Now, either we're a basket case or we're no. And mainstream media all the time are telling us what a basket case Scotland is. And the other contradiction there, of course, is AI to create thousands of jobs. I'm sorry, I thought the idea of AI was to automate jobs and to take them away. For example, an automated doctor, an automated lawyer, an automated tutor. I thought the point of AI was to take jobs away. What is this fucking nonsense? The mind boggles. And I mean the mind boggles. So AI is going to create thousands of jobs rather than take them away. And that's going to bring inward investment of billions. The billions inward investment, I believe, but that would be to automate these jobs, not to create them. You see, the mind boggles. Right, next up we've got the Herald. What's the Herald go for us this morning? Are we back being a basket case yet? No, well, no. But apparently the Scottish Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals staff have been euthanising animals in breach of rules for over a year. I'm afraid there's a story behind that, folks. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I can assure you that if the SSPCA, a charity set up to rescue animals, is having to destroy them, that tells you two things. Either their coffers are empty and they can't afford to keep these beasts, or they've no space to keep these beasts. And as this cost of living crisis gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and people can't afford their pets, the cat and dog homes very, very quickly fill up. Very quickly. But I'm sure if that's true and the SSPCA finds itself in a situation where it's needing to euthanise animals because it's got too many or it can't afford to keep them, I'm sure they're no chuffed with the situation themselves. And like Maesties, we'd rather people with enough to be able to keep their pets in good health and well fed. But people barely get enough to keep their families in good health and well fed. Okay, right, next up's the Times. Let's see what it's got for us this morning. Down the other end, I think. Yep. The Times has: Trans doctor row tribunal a farce, says leading SNP politician, and that's Annabel Ewan, who is an MSP in Fife, the area whose health board was affected by this. And she's absolutely right. This was a fucking farce and a media circus or nothing. It was about stoking these fucking culture wars being created by these nutters down the road to take all our eyes off the ball on how pathetically crap they are at governing. And the main headline in the Times is oh, you're kidding, man. Afghan data leak named British spies and soldiers. Of course it fucking did. Wow. Round of applause for the fucking rocket scientists at the Times. Oofed. Oofed. As you can see, folks, I'm no up to brooking the nonsense in the press this morning. Data breach revealed spies and soldiers. Of course it fucking did. That's what was on the list. Collaborators with the British and the Americans. Sometimes you just have to say, oofed. Right. Next up this morning, we'll get their answered. Times are answered up, better answered up. And let's go to a crime story this morning. The crime story this morning is divorced wife nightmare after murder threat. And apparently, woman who manages a pub was warned by the landlord that her estranged husband had a 100k hit on her, apparently, or he was going to take a 100k hit out on her. Anyway, it never happened. The threat was taken seriously by the police. Looked into, charges were laid. She didn't get shot. Now, next up is the scum, the Sun. And it's on a crime story this morning as well. And this is a crime of passion. Right. And what's it got? Raging wife savages hubby's privates after he KOs sex. Bloodbath in bedroom. Now what's this all about? This is all about 55-year-old Sharon Irvin from Blantyre in Lanarkshire, where I live, who attacked her husband's family jewels and ripped his scrotum open when he refused to have sex with her. Now, she was charged. He went to hospital, got patched up. She was charged. This is gone to court. And the two of them still live together and they're happily married. Okay. But I bet you didn't knock her back again. That's if it still works after getting your scrotum ripped open. As for still living together, I'd be shite scared to get home. Oh, brilliant. But if you ever run across this woman from Blantyre, cross the road, guys. It's no safe. That made me laugh, that one. Although, it also made me squirm at the same time. Right, so, next one we're actually going to put up is the Daily Fail, so let's go find it. No. That's that one. Let's go. And the Fail has now banned police from joining pride marches. Scots force under pressure from own officers after landmark ruling. Well, I guess we've heard about what this landmark ruling was. Police in Scotland should be banned from taking part in pride marches while on duty, following a landmark High Court judgment. A landmark High Court judgment? What the fuck's a landmark High Court judgment in Scotland, in England, got to do with Scots policemen? And I know the Daily Fail likes to think we're all fucking stupid, but the reason why we've on-duty police officers marching with marches is because it saves in manpower. It means you don't have to have static officers every fucking lamppost. That means that the officers can move with the procession. Cuts back the manpower needed. This is fucking nonsense. High Court ruling in England to apply to police in Scotland. Fuck off, Daily Fail. Do you know we'll get a separate legal system, the separate police force? Muppet. Ah well. Tell you I wasn't broken the nonsense in the press this morning, folks. No quite rantastic yet. No quite rantastic yet, but we'll get there. Maybe, depending on what's the papers. Right, after the stupid Daily Field, we have the Telegraph. So let's see what the Telegraph's got for us this morning. Voters at 16 as Starmer panics over reform. Well, if he was panicking over reform, the last thing they'd do is give the votes to 16 to 17-year-olds. Because Nigel Farage's voter base for reform are young white males. And of course, you've got Corbyn setting up his new party. And, you know, studies tell us that young people, as they enter into their political awareness, tend to enter into their political awareness on the left. There's been a lot of discussion on why that would be. Well, generally because, let's face it, we're all social animals. And we all basically believe that we want the best for each other. But that's just strongest when we're younger. Well, thanks, Class Action. You're enjoying today's distraction in the headlines of Scotland. Should look at the difference between Scotland and England in the headlines. Done that before, Class Action, but man, I've no doubt we'll do it again. But it's good to you mentioned that we could always pull up from comparisons, couldn't we? Wouldn't it be hard today? But you're right about distraction. Thanks very much for your kind contribution, sir. Alright. So the Daily Field votes at 16 and 17. Now, as I said, young people tend to start off on the left when they start their political awareness in their journey. So, by giving the votes to 16 and 17-year-olds, he hasn't advantaged himself. He's probably advantaged Reform and Corbyn if his new party gets off the ground. These are just the facts. Study after study after study shows us that most people 16 to 25 are on the left wing of politics. But the same studies tell us as we get older in life and start accumulating goods and starting a family, we become more conservative. I think Gen X, my generation, and maybe the tail end of the boomers, are the ones that have broke that trend. We haven't moved to the right, no matter how much we've accumulated. We just talked, to be short video yesterday, we were in the go to choke there because there's never 100 quid in my wallet. You know what I mean? That's about as conservative as we guys have got. We haven't went the other way. We've stayed on the left. But as I say, study after study after study shows that young people start their political awareness on the left, and it's reasoned that the reason they do that is because they're used to working together in teams and groups in school and their social groups as they grow up. But as I say, Gen X is the first one to break the trend of no moving to the right as we've accumulated things and got older. Alright. So, no, Starmer's no geek to vote. It was in his manifesto. Even though it wasn't in the King's speech, it was in his manifesto. And with the trouble he's been in, he's going to have to fulfill at least one manifesto pledge. This was the easiest one to bring to fruition. Alright, next up we'll get the National. It's unusual to have the Times and the Telegraph together. What's the National vote for us today? Let's have a look. Right, the National. Revealed First Minister's new plan for independence campaign. In today's edition of the National, John Swinney sets out his three-pronged strategy, but pro-independence thinkers remain to be convinced over not new approach. So what's John's strategy that he's published today in the National? Build support for independence, win the 2026 election, pressure Starmer to respect democracy. In other words, no new fucking plan. This is an absolute vote loser, John. What happened to fighting this man? So the new plan is the same as the old plan. SNP won election, asked for Section 30 order, we tell now's not the time, fuck off, job. Really, John? And I thought, John, you were going to let us decide at conference what the strategies should be going forward. So your plans to do the same fucking thing over and over again in the hope that they'll give in down that road. John, you need to get your head a fucking wobble, sir. For an extremely intelligent man, you don't seem quite get it. Continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. You'd be as well reading the fucking Express, you halfwit. You halfwit. You'd be as well reading the Express, because that's knuckle dragger thinking. Anybody believe that? Let's keep doing what we're doing, because it's not working so far. Stupid is as stupid does, and it would appear we've all overestimated John. It would appear we have all overestimated John, because that is as stupid as it gets. And next time I see him, I'll be fucking telling him. If they ever come out of fucking hiding. Anyway, apparently, members have been getting an email from the SNP to get tickets to go and discuss this with John. Funny that, I didn't get my fucking email. Did I get an email? Did I get a letter tell me about it? Haven't had a begging letter for a while, even though I'm quite good at contributing. Oh dear, I guess I'm bombed out at the moment, eh? But that's because I'm wanting to say things like I've just said. That John's acting like a fucking idiot. I agree with you to win the 2026 election, but to expect him to say, now is the time, here's your referendum, dear boy, is fucking stupidity. Nicholas had 5 mandates to try to do that. John wants to make it 6. Will Starmer back down? He's already told us that he won't be granting the referendum in this parliament or the next one. Time for a rethink, folks. And John, I'm afraid it's time for you to go. Because you know the answer. Now let's get rid of the National. That one had me angry this morning when I seen it. Next up we'll get the Eye. The Eye has. UK gives the vote to teen age 16 with Reform and Corbyn likely to benefit. And for the very reasons I've just stated. Reform's base is young white males. And most sensible young people, when they start out in their political awareness, start off on the left. And when Corbyn was leader of the Labour Party last time round, not just the biggest party in Europe, probably the youngest party in Europe as well. Right, so a couple of spins on what Starmer did. The right-wing rag says he's running fighter to the right-wing party. And the middle-of-the-road rag says the truth. It's likely to benefit Reform and benefit Jeremy Corbyn if his new party gets off the ground. No fact. I'm glad to see that the Eye actually made fucking sense for a change. And not because it agrees with me, because, let's face it, me and the Eye were both stating the obvious. Which tells you the headline in the right-wing rag, which claimed it was because he was running fear to Reform, was way off the park. Way off the park. Right, next up we'll get the Guardian. Let's see what it's got for us today. Diane Abbott suspended from Labour Party again. What did she do this time? She stands by the remarks she made that got her suspended the first time, the so-called racist remarks. Okay, and that was that she had noticed that the Asian community didn't quite get the scrutiny of that the black community gets. Is she right? Yes, absolutely. In fact, the study that Labour did into racism within their own party showed that blacks were treated worse than Asians. No anymore, of course, because Starmer being a white supremacist Zionist dictator, he's decided he's going to demonise the Muslims and anybody who sympathises with any Muslim cause, including stopping the genocide in Gaza. But as I say, a lot of you might find it funny that I am calling Starmer a white supremacist, racist, fascist. But the evidence is in front of our eyes. And why are the UK and the US so friendly with Israel? Well, it's all European Jews. There isn't fucking really any Israeli Jewish people there, except for the ones that were there before the Nakba in 1948. Yeah. And Starmer has really been going after the Muslim community. He went after the Bangladeshi community, if you remember correctly. He is a racist. Streets of strangers. A racist. But he's no anti-black. No, for him it's the Browns, the Asians, and for him it's also based in religion. He's a Zionist. Zionists and Muslims don't go on. Funny enough, Orthodox Jews and Muslims go on fine. There you go. But is Netanyahu toppled yet? After all, half his coalition had walked away yesterday because of them trying to impose quotas on national service for Orthodox Jews who don't believe in fighting. Right, anyway, Diane Abbott's been suspended for standing by her statements that blacks get worse treatment than the Asian community. And to be honest, studies that have been done by the Labour Party show that to be true. And yet that's stating facts enough to get you suspended for the Labour Party again. If you are black and anti-Starmer. There you go. That's my opinion on it. He's a white supremacist, racist, bigoted, fascist. That's what Starmer is. And you were warned. You were warned before the vote what he was. He was an authoritarian, racist, the religious bigot, but well, that's only really come to the force and say the Zionists vote him the Prime Ministership of the UK. And I mean vote him. They financed the front benches campaigns, did Labour Friends of Israel. Right, let's finish up today with the Star. Now, what's the Star got for us today? It's a Trump story. Orange Man Baby's latest. Trump, I'll make Coke great again. That'll be the end of the Coca-Cola brand then, because everything Donald Trump touches turns to shite. Everything he touches turns to shite. You know, why the Americans thought this was a great businessman. The first man on the planet to be able to have all the house advantages and bust the fucking casino. Couldn't make it up. Hey. Ah, well. So, bye-bye Coca-Cola. AG Bar will be celebrating this morning. I am Bruce about to sweep the world as his biggest drink. As Trump destroys Coca-Cola. Aye, Stephen, I'm aware of the the big meeting to try and blockade Israel and stop them from getting arms. And there's also more legal cases being taken. But as I said yesterday, with the 12 countries that were involved in going to crack down on Israel yesterday and take action, unless the Americans decide to put a stop to this and keep their wallets open, then Israel will keep going to the butchers every fucking Arab in the Middle East. Every single one of them. Because that's what they're like. But as I say, let's go out in a funny one. Orange Man Baby's latest Trump, I'll make Coke great again. Oh dear. The kiss of death for the Coca-Cola Corporation. We went off a lot of soft drinks disappear off the market. If this manufacturer disappears off the market, that's for sure. So, that's it for this week, folks. What a load of nonsense we've had in the press this week. And everything that was predicted to happen with the NI hike on employers is now starting to trickle through, as we knew it would, as it was being predicted too. So inflation up, unemployment up, economy shrunk, as per forecasted. And the only person that seems to be able to see it is Rachel for accounts. And she's had a devastating effect on the jobs market. Seen unemployment rise, seen wage growth slow, as we knew it would. And it's also feeding through into inflationary pressures. Wonderful stuff. Nice way to round up the week, knowing that the illiteracy, whether it be political or economic, is strong down that road. Ah dear. And if Starmer's giving the vote to younger people thinking they're going to vote for him, and thanks, that's politically naive and all. Right. Thanks very much for tuning in again today in your large numbers. Mind and hit the like button, please, the way out the door. Thanks very much for your super chats this week, and your super thanks and your super stickers, and of course your contributions from out with the programme and mean direct payments into the bank. Thank you very much, everyone. It should be a good month. Unfortunately, with the unemployment figure just going up, the needs just got greater. The need has just got greater. See you on Monday, 10:30. Eyes on the prize. Don't be late. You're on the naughty